Hi, everybody, and welcome to our live virtual open evening for Mount Carmel High School. I'm joined by Xavier Bowers, I'm head teacher, and I'm going to cut straight to it, and I'm going to introduce you and say, hi, Xavier, why don't you take over and tell us all about why we are here this evening. So excited to get going.
Well, hello everybody, and thank you, Ian from Scudio, for setting this up again. We had a bit of a trial run last week to introduce you to our first ever virtual open evening at Mount Carmel, and I suppose it's fitting in the times that we're living in that we're having to do this rather than as we do it traditionally in school, inviting you into the school hall. So what we're going to try to do tonight, using with Ian's help, and using the modern technology, is give you a flavour for what we'd normally do on open evening. I'd normally talk to families, and then we'd normally have some pupils that have just joined us. So we've got Olivia, who's going to talk you through what it's like as just starting in year 7 and telling us about the transition programme that she's gone through. We've got Declan, who's in year 8, so he's been in 12 months, knows the school a little bit better. Giving his first impressions and experience of a year 7 pupil, and then we've got our recently appointed head girl and head boy, Isabel and Ben, who've been in the school for 4 years, and then we've got Andy, who's our parent governor. So you're going to get a real good flavour of what people think about our school from their perspectives, and I think that's really important to us at Mount Carmel, that we are a really honest school. We're authentic, we're transparent. We know we don't get it right all the time. Largely we do, but when we don't, we'll work with you and work with families to put it right as soon as we can. So we were recently inspected by the Salford Diocese in March, just before lockdown, and our strapline as a school, as many of you will know, is a family of faith and learning, and that's what we say we're all about as a school, and it's well known in the across students and across all the staff and parents, and it really does shine through in our recent inspection report. We're delighted with the judgments that we were awarded, which was good across the board, and that's for the Catholic life of the school, for prayer and worship across school, for the quality of teaching and results in RE, but not just in RE, the spiritual, moral, social and cultural curriculum across the whole of the school. We think it's a really fair and accurate report. It captures the improvements that we've made over the last 4 or 5 years, and it also captures the high aspirations we've got for all of our children, and that we genuinely do care about each and every one of them and work with them and families if we need to do everything we can that they achieve and they come out well-rounded, sensible, hard-working, honest young people from Mount Carmel after 5 years. Thanks, Ian. If you look at our report, there's some lovely comments that we'd like to highlight for you here. Our pastoral care, we believe, is as good, if not better, than anything else on offer in the area. They really do go the extra mile to look after our children, and everybody comments on the quality of pastoral care at our school. People's behaviour is as good, if not better, than any other school locally. It's improved year on year. Pupils wear their uniform with pride. They have a strong association with the school and a strong sense of belonging with the school. Just to give you an indication, we have virtually no graffiti around school. We have no deliberate damage around school. It really is so rare that I cannot think of the last time that we had anything deliberately damaged. The school is so clean, it's so tidy. We've spent an awful lot of money in the last 10 years on improving the facilities and the resources. It really is a nice place to be. Also, the PTFA, in many schools, struggle to get people to join the PTFA. We've always got parents who are willing to get involved and help with all school events. Every school event, the PTFA are there providing refreshments and food for families, and that helps they'll create that wonderful welcoming atmosphere that we're proud of, and also gives a lot of parents the opportunity to talk to fellow parents about any concerns that they have in school. We're really proud of the links that we've developed with our parishes and Catholic feeder primary schools, and also primary schools in Oswaldthistle and Accrington, and we really work hard to work with them. So we really do feel, and we're really proud that we are a rapidly improving school. The results speak for themselves. Over the last 4 or 5 years, they've got better and better. And if you take pupil starting points into consideration, our children here now achieve at least as good, if not better, than any other school in this local area. We believe the standards of behaviour are also as good as anyone else in the area. Thanks, Ian. Now I want to talk a little bit about the transition from primary to secondary. We all know as parents it really is a daunting prospect to move from a primary school to a big secondary school, and we take that very seriously. And we have developed over the last 4 or 5 years a real extensive transition program that's focused on year 5, and we have an enrichment program that does what it says on the tin. We try and enrich the curriculum of the pupils across Oswaldthistle and Accrington. We have about 400 that come up in year 5, and they come up for 3 sessions, and they come up for computing, science, design technology, PE, Spanish, not French, and food. Their activities, their events, that's a curriculum that a lot of primary schools are not going to be able to offer because of the specialist facilities and the specialist staff. But we do that at Mount Carmel to enrich their experience while they're at primary school. And also it helps get to know our school and gets to know the staff at school and gets to know each other, because we actually take from over 19 different primary schools across the area now. On top of that, in year 6, when you're offered a place, we do as much as we can at that stage to get to know your child. We visit each one of them individually at all the primary schools, and Miss Lowe does that. You'll be able to field some questions for Miss Lowe if you would like to do so this evening, specifically about that primary transition. And then we go out of our way to bring children into school, not just on one occasion, but a number of occasions. If they're vulnerable, or they've got particular needs, or they've got particular anxieties, we have had children come up for at least half a dozen next steps days before they come in September. And then in September, we've delivered just recently a 2-day induction program to make sure that, that they all feel settled and they get to know each other quickly and settle down and settle in well at Mount Carmel. Thanks, Ian. Now, over the last 3 years, we've actually been oversubscribed as a school. The deadlines for applications this year are the 31st of October, as they normally are. The whole process is now done online. And last year, I told parents that we were anticipating, if you didn't put us down first choice, I'm sorry, but you wouldn't be allocated a place. And that is what happened this summer. People that put us down first choice, we were oversubscribed with those applications. And unfortunately, about 30 pupils were disappointed that we can't offer a place. We only have 162 places. We have a reserve list now in virtually every year group. We don't want to increase the number of pupils in our school, otherwise it becomes overcrowded and too busy at break and lunch, and the class sizes are too large. And so we want to keep it just like it is, so it's good for everybody. So once again, I'm saying, if you don't put us down first choice, I'm sorry, but you're not likely to be offered a place, even more so this year than last. Thanks, Ian. Now, we've got a new admissions policy that we've got in place for this year, because we want to make the process even more simpler for families who are making what is a big choice. It's a big decision to make where you want your child to go to secondary school. And as a parent, not just as a head teacher, I realise that, I really do. So we're trying to make it easy. There's preferential places in our admissions policy for our Catholic partner primary schools. Baptised Catholics first, but if you're not a baptised Catholic, it doesn't matter. You'll still have a priority place. And equally, our other partners, thanks Ian, across Oswald that are part of the enrichment program and the Next Steps program at Mount Carmel, you also will have a priority place for applications for 2021. So I'll say it again, if you're serious and you want your child to come here, you need to really put us down first choice and get that application form in as soon as you can. Now, I mentioned before about improving the buildings and the facilities at Mount Carmel. Over the last 10 years, we've had a significant building program every year, and this year is no different with our dining room. And Ian's now going to show you a short video tour of our school and look at what we've got on offer here for everybody. Thanks, Ian. I can't remember the last time I had that. Okay, thank you for that, Ian. So you can see what a wonderful school it is as far as the buildings are concerned, and of course it's the people that make the school what a wonderful place it is. So I'd now like to introduce Andy. Andy's our parent governor, who's going to give you a perspective of what it's like from his point of view. And like we say, we really do take pride on being a really honest school, and he'll tell you as it is. Thanks, Andy.
Thank you. Yeah, good evening, everybody. My name is Andy Harrington. I'm the current treasurer of our PTFA and also governor at Mount Carmel. But most importantly, I'm a parent. My daughter has just started in year 9, and my son finished his time at Mount Carmel earlier this year. So I feel well placed to provide an honest view from a parent's perspective. Deciding which school our children should go to is a difficult one. Normally, this process is made easier by attending the open evenings where you can see inside the building and get a feel for the school. But of course, this year, everything's changed. However, I think the school is showing it's got a can-do attitude by hosting this event online and hopefully still giving a flavour of what school will look like for your child. When we went through the process of choosing a school, like all parents, we wanted our children to go to a school where they receive a quality education and get good results at the end of 5 years. But results weren't the only thing we wanted for them. We wanted them to be safe, happy, and looked after. And I'm sure that's exactly what you want for your child. You know, when I came to the opening evening 6 years ago, I got a really positive feeling about the school. The message that it's a family really stuck with me. And that positive feeling remains after all these years. We decided to have a tour of the school during a working day to see the school in the real world. And it was very useful and really helped us when we were making our decisions. So I'd recommend you do this if you can, when it's safe to do so. And I have to say, as a parent, I've been delighted with my son's experience at Mount Carmel. He's now moved on to further education and is fully prepared for the next chapter in his life. My daughter's now in her 3rd year, ready to consider her option subjects. She clearly enjoys school life and has never once come home with any concerns or worries. I decided to join the PTFA when my son started school at Mount Carmel. That's the Parent, Teacher and Friends Association. Being part of the PTFA, it helps parents understand how the things in the school work, the nuts and bolts. You'll get to know everyone at the school, the head, the teachers, and probably most importantly, other parents. I'd really encourage you to consider joining. I found it really worthwhile. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the virtual open evening. Choosing the right school for your child is a really big decision, very important. And as a parent, I'd have no hesitation in recommending Mount Carmel. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Andy. That's really helpful, and I hope that's helpful for all you prospective parents out there that have got to make this difficult decision. I say every year in the hall, I never forget what it's like when my wife and I were choosing high schools for our children. We do really understand and get it. And what I mean by that is we get that you are going to put into our hands your most precious possession. And you want them looking after, you want them safe, you want them happy, you want to be looked after, you want them well educated. And we really do understand that as a school and a staff. Okay, so let's move on to Olivia now. Now, this is a daunting prospect, but Olivia, I'm sure, is going to take this in her stride. She's been at our school for all of 2 weeks. And you're going to tell us, Olivia, what it's been like while you've been preparing to come to us from primary school and what the first couple of weeks has been like. Thank you. You're a superstar.
Hi everyone, my name is Olivia and I have just started Year 7 in Mount Carmel. I previously attended St Mary's Primary School at Oswaldtwistle. During my time at St Mary's, I enjoyed various visits to Mount Carmel to take part in Eco Day, Tester Days, and we had lots of lessons there such as design technology, science, English, food technology and Spanish. These visits gave us a good taste of what life at high school is really like. My school also competed in Mad for Maths, Excited for English, Crazy for Science, and various other competitions against other schools. I have always felt very welcome at Mount Carmel during these visits. The staff are really friendly and made us feel very comfortable. I am enjoying being a pupil at Mount Carmel. I have had lots of help to settle in during these past few weeks. My favourite lesson is English and I am looking forward to all the visits and activities that are arranged for us. Please don't worry about knowing other pupils because even though lots came from my primary school, I also made lots of extra friends who came from different schools.
Oh, very well done, Olivia, and thank you for that. You did a great job, really did. Okay, so now we're going to move on to Declan. So Declan's just started Year 8, Year 7, and he's going to tell us what it's like, what it's been like for somebody in Year 7. Declan, over to you.
Hello, my name is Declan and I am in Year 8. When I was in Year 7, I went on some really good trips with school. In November, I went to Lockerbie Manor on an outward bound activity trip. It really helped me get to know my new classmates. I also visited Skipton Castle and went on a tour behind the scenes at Manchester Airport. I really enjoyed that, especially the tour of Concorde. During lockdown, I had to have my lessons online and work from home. I enjoyed getting emails from my teachers with the comments about my work. I am happy to be back in school now so that I can see all my friends and teachers. My favourite subjects at school are geography and English. I enjoy these subjects because my teachers make the lessons fun and interesting. I think all my teachers are amazing and they really help me if I have any problems understanding anything. I am grateful that my teachers always make me smile and every day I look forward to going to school.
Oh, well done, Declan. Well done. You did really, really well there. And Declan talked a lot there about the warm welcome and the positive relationships between the staff, but also between the children. Yes, we're firm and we're fair, and we have really high expectations of them all, but we also love them to bits. It really is like an extended family. You know, they're looked after as if they're one of our own. Okay, so lastly, Ben and Isabel have recently been through a grueling process. It's one of the highlights of my diary every year. We had to put it on hold, unfortunately, for lockdown, but the selection of head boy and head girl and the senior prefect team is one of the highlights. So we have a head boy and head girl, we have 2 deputies girls, 2 deputy boys, and 3 senior prefects that make up the team. And they have to write a letter of application, first of all, and then they have to do a 5-minute presentation to a panel and then face some questions, pretty much like it is if you were appointed or called for an interview as a member of staff here, to be honest. But we deliberately do that to give them that experience of going into the world of work. So come on, Ben, come on, Isabel. What's it been like for you for the last 4 years?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ben, and I have recently been appointed as head boy at Mount Carmel. Besides me is Isabel, our recently appointed head girl. Mount Carmel to me is a place of faith and learning where students are nurtured with Christ at the centre of everything we do. The school is a very positive place where all faiths are welcomed and respected because we value each other as individuals. We have noticed significant improvements at Mount Carmel over the past few years, with behaviour, facilities and grades getting much better.
The staff here are also really dedicated and want the best for every one of us. My favourite thing about Mount Carmel is our pastoral system that gives all students a safe place to express their feelings and emotions. We know students have found this most helpful more than ever after the past few months of lockdown. We wear
our uniform with pride every day, whether it be in the school or out in the local community. We are expected to represent the school when wearing the Mount Carmel badge, looking both smart and presentable at all times.
During the current crisis, all year groups are being kept separate and schools being split into many different zones in order to follow the government guidelines. We have adapted to the government restrictions really well regarding the pandemic and keep safe in our bubbles, whilst also being able to spend time with our friends and break on lunch times. We hope that
by the time you start at high school, the coronavirus won't be around, but either way, to everyone at Mount Carmel will work their hardest to make sure that their time at school is enjoyable. I enjoy sports such as football, badminton and cricket, and being at Mount Carmel has helped me improve my skills and motivated me to always give 100%.
I really enjoy both art and design technology. I love being creative and using my imagination, which these subjects allow me to do to the fullest extent. My teachers always go above and beyond to support me so I can achieve the best grades possible.
I know how daunting the transition from primary to secondary school can seem. Isabel and I remember feeling anxious to begin with, but we soon settled in. If you are lucky enough to get a place at Mount Carmel, you will have a fantastic time and feel part of the wonderful extended family. I hope you enjoy our virtual open evening. Thank you.
That's great. Well done. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Isabel, for giving us that real thorough and comprehensive report on what it's been like as a pupil. And we wish you all the best in year 11 and the exams that hopefully will go on next summer and going into the future. Well done. You're both absolute credit to your school and your families, and you very much deserve the positions that you've got. Are we going on to some question and answers now, Ian?
We are indeed. Thank you so much. There's some really lovely comments that are coming in. So it might be nice just to have a look at that. And there's loads of really nice comments about how fantastic all the particular students have done, who have spoken so well. So that there's some really lovely, nice comments on there as well. So that's fantastic, isn't it? If folks are watching and want to ask a question, we've got some here that we know are popular questions or questions that have been submitted to us beforehand. If you do have any questions and you're watching this live, we're just going to spend a little bit of time answering your questions. So do feel free, if you're watching on either Facebook or YouTube, if you use the comments feature, you'll be able to put your questions in there, and we will throw them at Mrs. Lowe and Mr. Bowers as well. So let's get, should we just go straight?
Ian, can I just explain? Mrs. Lowe's head of year 7.
Yeah.
And she and Mrs. Green make up the team in year 7, along with form tutors. We deliberately have that team stable each year, so that they're really experienced in managing that transition from primary to secondary. Miss Lowe does a great job with Mrs. Green doing that, and she's behind a lot of the plans and preparations that go on from when we know which children are starting to the induction days in the first couple of days. So there's loads of experience there. She's like a big mum, really, to 162 of them, to be honest.
Well, I do tell them like the mum in school.
You do.
That's brilliant. Right,
all right.
I'm going to go straight in there.
Ian, yeah.
Well, I think this is probably one that lots of people will be thinking about. Is my child is worried about making friends when they move to high school. What tips do you have to help them? And I'm going to move that right out of the way so that we can see Mrs. Lowe properly.
Well, I'll take that one. I would say that it's just to be yourself. I think everybody is nervous. New teachers, when they start at Mount Carmel and any school, are nervous, so it's accepted. And it's totally acceptable to feel nervous about coming to a new school. We expect that you smile a lot and talk to new people, make new friends. We have time in form times in your induction days to help you mingle and make friends and perhaps do little quizzes with each other so that they feel more confident. We have certain pupils this year who've come from schools on their own, so it's not new to us. But my advice would be just be yourself, talk to people, be open, smile a lot. And if there are any problems and you're struggling, just come and see us and we'll buddy you up with somebody who can help you.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and I would go on and say, our form tutors, like I say, are always year 7, and they're very, very experienced. We spend a lot of time in form getting to know each other, because we do come from 19 different primary schools. Mrs. Lowe organises a residential trip up to Lockerbie every year that Declan spoke about, because we want to try and really develop those friendships. Some of them will be lifelong. And then there's lots of other activities that we do, such as the welcome day, where we have a day off timetable just for year 7. And there's some various team building and challenges, personal challenges there to get to know each other, don't they?
Yeah, we have a day off timetable, having lots of fun, and a welcome mass.
That's great. This it's turned into a Mrs. Lowe loving ever so slightly here. So Michelle says you can put your children in the very safe hands and heart of Mrs. Lowe. Fantastic lady. Thanks, Michelle. That's amazing. Mrs. Lowe is absolutely fab, says Dawn. Let's see. Anybody? That's the next half. I think that's enough now. Let's see. There's a couple of questions that have come in. So let me see. There was a couple here. So Jenny says, how many people are in a class? So that's a class sizes question, I guess.
Yeah, I'll take that one. So as I said before, we have 162 places available, and we're not planning to expand those at all, because we think that's manageable. So 30 is our maximum class size. We have an upper band of 4 groups of 120 children, and then a lower band of 42 children. So there's 22 in one and 20 in another, or there or thereabouts. We don't want class sizes above 30, and we want it to be manageable and safe for everybody.
That's great. Here's a really easy one for you from Rachel. What time can children enter the school from in the morning?
So ordinarily, Rachel, we'd have a breakfast club at 8 o'clock, where you can actually come in and have your breakfast. And spend some time in the canteen, but 8:35 at the moment is the start of the day, and normally it would be 8:45, and we finish at 3 o'clock at the end of the day.
Okay. That's
so
great.
As soon as we can get that provision back in place, it's popular. Lots of people turn up early and have the breakfast here.
That's cool. Here's an important one from Mark. What SEND provision and support do you have in place? That's going to vary massively, isn't it, depending on the student? But what are you able to paint a bit of a picture for parents who have children, young people with some kind of additional need or disability?
So Mrs. Lowe works really, really closely with our school Senko, Mr. Sweeney. Mrs. Lowe will visit, like I say, all the children in turn in their primary schools. And if there's any that have got special educational needs, or actually just feeling a bit anxious and nervous about the whole thing, she will refer that information on to Mr. Sweeney, and he'll pay a special visit, a second visit, and speak to the pupil. And if need be, even speak to the family and bring the families up to school. And we have something called an individual education plan that are filled in for all children, or if they've got an education and healthcare plan, we'll update that so everybody knows what their needs are and can meet their needs across all subject areas. You know, I think we manage that process really, really well. We also have a dedicated team of teaching assistants in SEN who support children individually in lessons throughout the day. That is becoming, I've got to say, increasingly difficult because of the funding cuts specifically for FCN. And that's affected all secondary schools in the last 3 or 4 years.
We also offer.
Would you add anything there, Emma?
Yeah, we offer our little steps days for students who are struggling or who might maybe ASD and maybe need a little bit more time to get used to the new arrangements, the set out of the school, the layout. Certain students have specific needs for routine, so we bring them in earlier in the summer term, a bit more than other students, and just help them get through it so that they can figure out their routines as along with ours, and they get to meet the staff and the form tutors. And that comes right back from the teachers when I meet the teachers back in March, when we find out who's coming here. And we set up those links straight away, really. So we have a welcome evening in March as well that engages all parents to come in and meet us just as a settling in, really, to make sure that you've definitely made the right choice and for us to get to know you a bit more. But it's something that we take very seriously. Myself and Mr. Sweeney met most of our children who have additional needs before the summer, so that they had a friendly face to meet just before we started. So yeah, for me, it's an all-round package. We like to give it a right wrap around.
That's good to know. That's really good to know. I think sometimes it's really important to throw the cat among the pigeons. So Holly says that Mrs. Lowe would make a cracking head teacher, just so you know. Let's leave that one right there, shall we?
Actually,
I'm not paid any of these. I promise you, I have not paid anybody to make these comments.
Let's move on. Is there anything that you can paint us a picture of extracurricular stuff around school?
Well, I'll take that one. I'm a PE teacher at Mount Carmel as well, of head of year, and we offer all sports that you can think of: football, netball, rounders, cricket, basketball, badminton, table tennis, you name it, we do it. Dance, cheerleading. We're open to new things, so if you think of something that we don't do and we could try and do it, then we'll definitely do it. But we also have reading clubs, stuff behind the scenes, chess club, animal club, anything that you can think of, we offer it.
That's performing arts is also really, really strong, Ian. Okay. We have an annual school show, and a lot of the parts in that annual show are actually children in Key Stage 3 that take on those. Miss Javid, our music teacher, has a choir in every year group. The numbers have gone from 7 to 70 in the last few years. We have a brass band club that she started up. We have various peripatetics coming in to teach children music. Miss Bell and Miss Javid together are a fantastic team. We enter lots of local competitions for performing arts. In fact, last summer we spent a fortune on the sound system in the hall. This summer we spent a fortune on the lighting system, and I'm just looking forward to seeing it being used.
yeah, that's really exciting. Alison has just asked a question: gymnastics. Is that one that's yeah? That's fantastic. That's really great. Just jumping back a question or so. I won't put them up just in case there's any kind of issues there. But there's a couple of really lovely comments if you're on Facebook, and you can see them about the provision around SEND, which saying it's fantastic and has been the school's working really hard to develop a really good relationship. So that's amazing, because that's a massive worry for families of children, young people with additional needs, isn't it? So really great to hear all of that. Let's have another look. This is a really good one. How can parents get involved in school life?
Well,
who wants that one?
I'll take it. Through the PTA, first of all, PTFA, as you know, you heard from Andy earlier. I'm a member of that group of people as well. They're very passionate. They're a good sounding board as well for anything that maybe Mr. Bowers wants to run by them. And they've always got questions. They always challenge us, don't they, sir, in our meetings?
They're a fantastic group. As Emma says, they provide refreshments for every school event during the evening and even weekends. They hold an annual Christmas fair and they raise about £1,200 just on that one event. We've also had the local Lions group use our school for a fundraising for their charity. It's for the Down Syndrome organisation. It all happens here. And the other thing, I mean, as Mrs. Lowe knows, if parents were asking me this, I'd say do 3 things, and that's work hard with your children, you know, take an interest in their school day, their homework, just find out, you know, how their day's been, behave yourself. The majority of our parents are really supportive, but we don't want anybody being, you know, abusive or aggressive in school at all. We're all here to want the best of the children. It's not a them and us school, this at all. We expect you to buy into it and support us, but we will genuinely listen to you and your concerns, and be nice. Be nice. Parents are by the first educators and the most important educators, and your children do see you as role models, whether you like it or not. They pick up what you say, what you do, and you know, you have a massive part in shaping their personality and their values, and you know, those values of honesty, trust, kindness, forgiveness are what we're about as a school, and we hope that you support that at home as you're bringing your children up.
Can I just say, sir, that we use an app called Show My Homework. So there's another way that you can be involved in your child's education as well, is the fact that you will see everything that your child is set for homework and anything that they do at school. So if they get achievement points, you'll pick that up. If there's something not quite right, something may have gone wrong, you'll pick that up on there as well. So it's a really good positive way to keep in touch, and it's literally on your phone. So we all know how attached we are to our phone these days. So it's a really good way of keeping in touch as well. But also, we're just at the end of a phone. So if there is an issue, you could just give us a call. Myself and Mrs. Green constantly fielding questions from anxious parents at the moment. I can understand that completely. And as a mum myself, it's really important that there's a good two-way relationship between school and parents.
That's really reassuring, actually. Yeah, very much so. Just picking up on the bit of technology that you mentioned there, what technology do you use in school for pupils actually in lesson?
So we have fantastic facilities for technology. We have 3-4 dedicated computer suites. We have a refurbed design technology block with loads of new excuse me, equipment in. We have a new food room that was completely renovated a couple of years ago. We have iPads, laptops. Increasingly, of course, we've all had to use online facilities. Miss Lowe's mentioned Show My Homework. We also use Microsoft Teams. I know maths use a number of different programs, EED and learning by questions, and science use Seneca as an online tool, also support what's going on in the classroom. Then those things are never going to replace a teacher for me, and the teaching environment and the interactions, but they help, they support it. So we're well resourced, I suppose, of what I'd say. We're well resourced. We try and keep up constantly with the latest technology. We spend nearly £100,000 a year probably on IT facilities. All the classrooms we have interactive whiteboards and various video conferencing facilities now. Ian, as you've said, it's, you know, testament to the school that we've engaged with something like this. Given the times that we're on, we are that good thinking school. Yep. But I suppose with technology, you can never keep up completely, and no school's ever going to have the budget to have the latest all singing and dancing everywhere. But we've got more than our fair share.
I think so. If it's all right for me to jump in, and nobody knows who I am. We work with loads of schools all over the country, and it's massively about really good management of your resources and figuring out what bits of kit fit best with what you're trying to achieve. And I know from the relationship that I have with Mount Carmel that they're as a school, they're really good at that. So from a technology point of view, really, really good job from school. If that's all right for me to have an opinion on it. I'm going to move on very quickly, and I know that this is something that will pop up in lots of people's heads, especially people if they're going to be starting next year. What's the lay of the land when it comes to bullying around school?
If I start, Emma, and I think the first thing is that if any head teacher stands up and says there's no bullying in my school, then you need to worry, because unfortunately that is the reality. There is bullying in every school. The second thing is we have no nonsense to bullying or poor behaviour, for that matter, of any sort, because it affects other people and affects other people's learning and their health and their well-being. So we try and nip it in the bud. We encourage children to report it immediately. Don't let it carry on. If they're not going to report it and they go home and talk to mum and dad, then we ask mum and dad to do it for them and report it to us straight away. We take it really seriously, and we follow it up straight away. And the likes of Miss Lowe and her team get it sorted. And sometimes it means bringing both parties together, and there's a misunderstanding, and sometimes there's no misunderstanding. It's a clear case of somebody trying to victimize and take advantage of somebody else, and they're told in no uncertain terms that's not what families are like, or good families are like anyway, and that's certainly not what our school's about. And they're told in no uncertain terms it's got to stop, and if it doesn't, it'll come to me, and I'll be speaking to those parents and saying, you need to sort it, otherwise you need to think about another school for them. It's as simple as that. Have I missed anything, Miss Lowe?
No, I think you've covered it. All I'll say is that it's always dealt with swiftly, and it's never taken for granted, or people aren't told to just ignore it or grow up. That's not what it's about. It's about making sure that everybody feels that they're being heard. And we do, like Mr. Bowers said, that we use restorative approaches. So if possible, after a time of cooling down, we'll get the children in a room and let them talk about how they felt and how it made them feel. And they need to open their eyes to that, because we've all suffered with it at some point. Everybody goes through stages where they fall out with people, but it's about giving our students the ability to be able to work through it, rather than just for us to stop it. They have to have approaches that they can come to as well, so that they can manage it effectively. We use in Year 7 feel it, see it, say it. So if they have witnessed it, if they're brave enough to come and say something or tell a teacher, then we'll deal with it. And everybody is accountable for bullying.
That's brilliant.
You're always going to get the fallouts and squabbles in schools. We have very, very, very few cases of repeated bullying reported. Each year we probably have a handful. That's all. But it's just part of life that people sometimes do fall out, and it's about how you deal with it, isn't it, and work through it.
I will say we don't always get it right. We make mistakes, but we will say, we'll hold our hand up to it, that if we did and it's not been quite right, then we'll make it right, and those children feel supported through it. But for me, like we said before, it's like being your mum in school. So as a mum to my children, it's important that they understand how to deal with it as well, and that it's not just a one size fits all situation. It happens and we deal with it.
Great. This is I think a little bit of an expansion of that, but covering a few other bits as well. So about how the form groups and the pastoral system work. I know somebody has asked a question as well about class sizes and staff ratios and stuff. So are you able to both paint a picture of what that's like for us in school?
Yeah, so the pastoral system is really strong here. Since I've been here, it's just developed and developed and developed. We've got 5 what we call pastoral leaders, who are all qualified teachers, and we have 5 assistant pastoral leaders who are really skilled, but they are members of support staff, so they don't teach at all. That's the structure. We have a Year 7 group of form tutors who pretty much stay the same each year and work with Miss Lowe and Mrs. Green, as I've said. So we really get that experience of the transition, because we know how daunting and challenging that is for lots of families. And then year 7 will move up to year 8, and they'll have a new form tutor in year 8. And then that form tutor will, with their assistant pastoral leader and pastoral leader, follow them through into year 9, year 10, and into year 11. So we try and make sure when they come to year 7, they settle in and get settled in with an experienced team, and then we hand them over really to the year 8 team, who then take them through to the rest of the year. So you've got that continuity, and those form tutors really get to know not just those children but those families for 4 years, and we think that's a good balance for us at the moment. There are pros and cons about all sorts of pastoral care systems in place, but we put a lot of resource that way, and we have a lot of experience that way, and I think that's investment really was evident in the judgments made in the Section 48 inspection that we had recently in the Salford Diocese about the quality of pastoral care throughout the school. It's really high. You're not going to get much better.
Do you want to add anything to that, Mrs. Lowe?
I just think we, as year 7 team, give everybody the same start. So it's pretty much that they get exactly the same grounding as soon as they come in. I get to meet them right back in March. From March onwards, I can meet their teachers. I get to know a lot about them behind the scenes. I have good communications with the primary school teachers. And I think it's all about that really, that team that we built in year 7 is the same and is on the same level all the time, and they give them the same messages, and we set them off on the right foot really. And that's why we do it, so that the primary schools know who I am and I know who the primary schools are. And I think that's why it works for us in year 7 as a transition, because it's a friendly face, pretty much the same face. And realistically, that's the best start we can give them. And my team of form tutors are absolutely amazing and go above and beyond all the time.
That's awesome. So following on from that then, what about finding your way around school? How does that work? Are they?
Well, I'm struggling to find my way around school at the minute.
Oh yeah, so I imagine it's a bit different at the minute.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
We feel like students at the minute, moving from room to room, and so we know how it feels, especially if you're brand new. All our floors are given little abbreviations. So ground floor is G, first floor is F, second floor is S. So they know where they're going, be it on ground floor or second floor, and it's followed by a number. So they should know which rooms to go to. What I will say though is in the first few weeks, nobody is going to be angry if a year 7 turns up late to a lesson. We have staff and students on the ground usually helping them get to lessons, and our year 11s are always really helpful in getting students to where they need to be. So it's nothing to worry about, and it's totally expected. You wouldn't be able to find your way around a new building within 10 minutes. So it's not expected that they would know their way around within 10 minutes coming to a new school.
We have maps around school, Ian, up on the corridors, you know, the building that children can refer to. Your form tutor takes them round, Mrs. Lowe, don't they, and part of the induction. So, you know, we don't expect them to remember all that. We do give them a while to settle in. They're not going to get in trouble for turning up late. They're given a designated area at break time and lunchtime to get to know each other and feel safe. And as Mrs. Lowe said, you know, I come across every year numerous pupils in all the year groups really keen to show a little year 7 round to a form room and look after them. It's lovely.
That's really good. That's really cool. I think so. We're pushing on with time. I'll maybe come back to a couple more questions in a moment, but just to show you a couple of things that people are saying that are really nice. Sorry to hide you there, Mrs. Lowe. I moved to Mount Carmel after being bullied in year 7. It was best transition for me as I had the best experience with both staff and peers. Left Mount Carmel in 2017. What a great school with fab teachers, always supportive. Thanks so much, Jill. That's amazing. And actually, she's just enhanced that slightly. She's currently training to be a teaching assistant. That's really awesome. That's really awesome. I think, you know, we can bang on as much as we want all night. Actually, there's a load. If you're on either Facebook or YouTube, you'll be able to see there's loads of really, really lovely positive comments, which is just fantastic to see. I'm going to ask, let me see, I'm going to do 2 more really quick questions, and we're going to do them as fast as we can. This one is the one that's most important to me because it's food related. Tell us about lunch and break time arrangements and the food on offer in the dining room. Is it restricted like McDonald's at the minute?
At the minute,
I mean, the menu's cut back on all these places, isn't it? Is that the deal? Is it the same thing?
I would say in normal times, no, we have a really healthy options and they can choose what they want to eat at break and lunch, and they can get breakfast, lunch, break. They can choose. They have a variety of options, hot and cold food. At the minute, it's a little bit limited due to our situation. But for me, food is very important, and it's a good.
Me too.
Yeah. You get a good option. Did you enjoy the chicken burgers, though? I will say that.
That sounds good. That
Food's
sounds
great,
good.
Ian. We
Good.
spent £250,000 on refurbishing our kitchen last summer, and the kitchen team down there, they're absolutely amazing. They really are part of the school. So on a morning, you'll have anything from toast to fruit to bacon butts available, and then at break time, the paninis are really popular.
Sounds awesome. Stop
tea
it
cakes
now.
and cereal, and then at lunch there's I think there's 2 or 3 hot options every lunch. I like to taste each one just to make sure it's okay. And I really mean that. And if I don't like it, then I let the chef know. And no, the food's fantastic.
That's
you
brilliant.
Speak to the children. Again, it's one of those things I think they'll say that have improved massively since we took on the staff in the kitchen, and Christine took over there with Mel on her side, and they are really part of the team.
Can
That's
I
fantastic.
just add there that they're absolutely amazingly great with the children. They have such good pastoral qualities about them as well, because they notice if something isn't right, and they notice if maybe somebody's not eating maybe what they should be doing or eating enough, and they're absolutely amazing ladies, and they will bend over backwards to make you something that you appreciate. So I can't speak of those ladies highly enough.
That's fantastic. That's really great. And there is a question that's popped up a few times. How many classes are there, and how many classes in a day? So that's just a really quick one, if that's all right.
Yeah, so we have 5 1-hour periods in a day. We have form period first of all, and then we have 2 1-hour lessons, a 20-minute break from 10 past 11 to 11:30, then another 1-hour lesson, and then 2 hours in the afternoon, finishing at 3 o'clock. Of course, that's it breaks. It just breaks up the day. We think lessons of less than an hour, you're struggling to sometimes get through things, and there's a lot of movement on the corridors. Anything more than an hour, then the children struggle to concentrate. As far as groups are concerned, we have 6 form groups in every year group, and we have 6 teaching groups. They are set and streamed from year 7, and they move twice a year based on assessments that we do at school. There's virtually no movement by the time they get to year 10 and year 11, because we know them so well. There is a bit of movement in year 7, particularly in the autumn term, because some children do better in the Key Stage 2 SATs, and some don't do as well as they were anticipating. So that's a bit tricky. We have 4 in the upper band, the M band. So we have M1, M2, M3, M4, and all those are classes of 30, as I've said. And then we have C1 and C2 in the lower band, and they're 22 in C1 and 20 in C.
Okay, thank you. That's amazing. That's brilliant. Thank you for clearing that up. I think so. It's worth saying that if we've missed any of your questions, again on either YouTube or Facebook, somebody will try and work through those and answer those questions. And you can, of course, get in touch with school if you've got any questions. I think we're going to say farewell to Mrs. Lowe as we start to draw things to a little bit of a close. Thank you so much, Mrs. Lowe, for answering some questions. And if you want us to print off all the lovely feedback, that's fine.
That'd be good. Yeah. I'll put it in my CV.
Okay, we'll do that, especially the bit about the head teacher job.
Yeah, perfect.
Ian, okay, I'm genuinely worried here. I sat here genuinely worried. I think she fancies it, really.
No, you're all right. You can
just you're all right for this week, at least.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. Okay. Good. Thanks, Mrs. Lowe. Thank you so
much.
Bye, guys.
She's amazing. That's brilliant. So I'm just gonna let me put up a bit of information, because we're going to start to wrap some things up. There were a couple of things that we wanted to mention again, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So do you want to just mention these again for us?
Yes, thanks, Ian. Before I come on to that, Ian, can I just thank you and all the people there at Studio for facilitating this. It's been fantastic, dare I say it. I was very apprehensive and very nervous before this, stepping into the unknown and certainly out my comfort zone. But you've put us at ease and at rest, and I hope it comes out well out there to everybody. I really do especially want to thank people involved tonight, Andy, Emma, Olivia, Declan, Ben and Isabel, because I'm sure they were feeling tonight a bit daunting, but they did fantastically well. They spoke very truly and very honestly and very sincerely about our school, as they always do. And I want to thank everybody, Ian, that's posted questions in there for us. Please keep them coming. We'll try and reply to the frequently asked questions on our website over the next few days, or our Facebook site, so that we try and answer them all for everybody. Because it is a big choice that people are making, and we recognise that. And of course, we want to say for them to come here, but you're going to make the right choice, the right school for your child. If you want a school that's high expectations for everybody, really genuinely cares about everybody, wants them to be safe, wants them to feel happy, wants them to enjoy their learning, but has an absolute zero approach to poor behaviour of any sort, or anything that disturbs learning, then I'm afraid we're not the school for you. So the personal tours is something we offer every year. Not all schools do it, and we do it deliberately to show that we are what it says on the tin. We are the real deal, as they say. And I would normally say to parents, pick a wet Wednesday, and that's when you really get to know a school. And if you pick up the phone and say, can I have a tour of your school? You'll not always get the response, yeah, of course you can. We'll arrange a mutually convenient time, or we'll take you around. But that's the response you'll get here. And that's the best way that you're going to come and get a flavour. Now, I will say, Ian, for obvious reasons, this year, the tours won't be as they'd normally be, to make sure that the visitors are safe and our staff and children stay safe in school. But you'll get a good feel for us nevertheless. I'm very proud and I feel very privileged to be head teacher of this fantastic school that's just going from strength to strength. And while we recognise those improvements, we're not complacent at all. We want better for everybody. That's pupils and staff and parents, and we're just going to keep going and keep going.
That's fantastic. Thanks so much for that, Seb. I've really enjoyed this for doing this. It's been a lot of fun. I think we are pretty much ready to wrap things up, aren't we? Is there anything else you want to say before we say farewell to everybody and play our little wrapping up video for folks to watch at the end of our session?
Just to say thanks for joining us. I hope you found it helpful in making your choice for high school. And stay safe.
That's great. Thank you so much. We'll I'm going to play on this video, which hopefully is going to work fine. And thank you so much for joining us, everybody. We'll definitely everybody will be keeping in touch, and hopefully you'll get a place that you want as well. Thanks so much.
Welcome to Mount Carmel Roman Catholic High School in Accrington. My name is Xavier Bowers, and I'm absolutely proud and privileged to be head teacher of this wonderful school. We're a school that's very proud of our ethos and our traditions, and believe that we offer all that's good about Catholic education to the communities of Accrington and Oswald in this modern world. Our admission numbers have increased year on year, and more recently, we have been oversubscribed with first choices. We believe that this is a massive vote of confidence from the local community. Our exam results have also improved year on year over the last few years. And more recently, we are proud to be able to say that the results at Mount Carmel are as good, if not better, than any other local school. Both of these things were captured in our latest Section 48 inspection report. We believe it's a very fair reflection of the school, the improvements we've made, and the very good position that we're in going forward to continue making those improvements. Our strapline, A Family of Faith and Learning, was very thoughtfully and carefully put together in consultation with all stakeholders. Family and all that's good about family values is what Mount Carmel is about. Looking after each other, looking out for each other, working hard, being honest, trustworthy, upstanding citizens is what we're about as a school. Focused on faith, that every child is unique, a gift from God, special, precious, that need the opportunity to develop their gifts and talents. And that's very much what we're focusing on, nurturing them through their school life so that they're happy, they want to come to school. And lastly, learning. Schools are about learning about the world that's gone ahead, the world that we live in and the world in the future, but also focusing on ourselves and learning about ourselves and each other. We have high expectations for all children and all staff at Mount Carmel, and make no bones about that. We're very pleased and proud of our latest Section 48 inspection report from the Salford Diocese. We believe it's a fair reflection of our school and where we're at the moment, and also the many improvements that have been made in the school over recent years, and very much look forward to continuing those improvements in the future. We very much enjoy being the heart of the local community of Accrington and Oswestwhistle. We've worked hard over the years to develop positive relationships with the local parishes, our Catholic partner primary schools, and our partner primary schools in Oswestwhistle and Accrington, and very much enjoy working with and alongside pupils and families so that we can provide the very best education for all concerned here at Mount Carmel. Thank you.
We appreciate that high school days can be tough at times for children, but we offer the support through our 5 pastoral leaders and non-teaching assistant pastoral leaders who are available to support if a child is experiencing any issues whilst at school. This gives parents the peace of mind to know that issues will be resolved immediately and thoroughly. As a child grows through the school, the pressures on them will inevitably change. Some children experience pressures that are external, such as from home or within school, whereas others expect a lot of themselves. We are here to offer that support and guidance to help them overcome these difficulties together, should they ever arise. We want to build young people who have the confidence to succeed in whatever they choose to do. By providing opportunities for these youngsters, we aim to give them experiences they would not normally have. This may be through various means, such as singing in the choir, representing school at sport, acting in the school production, or taking up one of the many leadership roles, from being a member of the school council to being a chaplaincy rep. Like you, we value family. We hope that the Mount Carmel journey has already begun for your child.
Transition into our Mount Carmel family starts in Year 5 with our primary enrichment programme. Year 5 pupils visit Mount Carmel weekly to enjoy a taster of our school curriculum. Our transition programme consists of a welcome evening in March, followed by 2 induction or step-up days in July. During this time, I will meet all of your Year 6 teachers and pupils to make sure that the transition process is as smooth as possible. We have a dedicated team of Year 7 form tutors who will help your child settle into Mount Carmel family life. We consider our pastoral care system to be the best in the area, and this is something that we are really proud of. We look forward to meeting your child at Mount Carmel in the near future.
As a Catholic school, we strive to ensure that Christ is at the centre of all we do, incorporating gospel values on a daily basis. Our staff have been called by God to do Him service, to help grow the children we have been entrusted with. We appreciate that each one of them has been made in God's likeness, and as such have been given individual talents that our mission is called to develop and nurture. Pupils' journey through the school should be a journey through faith, a journey which recognises that true justice, peace and human freedom require first and foremost respect for the dignity of human life, from first conception until natural death. Catholic schools have been an important part of the Church for hundreds of years. We acknowledge that parents are the first teachers of children. However, it is our role to help with their journey, to see and feel the teachings of Jesus in action. It is our mission that we nurture each child, but in particular, we strive that each individual is respected for who they are. Whether a child is strong or poor in faith, we provide an environment where they can grow virtues and values that are rooted in the gospel of Christ. Here at Mount Carmel, we aim to contribute to a creation of society that is highly educated, skilled and cultured. Yes, we ask our children to have high academic targets and strive to reach these in all their subjects. However, we also aim to ensure that our pupils leave school as a positive asset to society, who appreciate not just the cultural importance of Accrington, but that of England and the world.
At Mount Carmel, our faith is really important to us. It is the foundation of our beliefs and our practices. We embed our faith in our daily lives. Part of collective worship, we take part in form group assemblies, we take part as year group assemblies and paraliturgies. We celebrate our holy days, things like Our Lady of Mount Carmel Day, and we also celebrate key periods in the liturgical calendar, Advent, Christmas, Lent. We offer faith in all forms at Mount Carmel. We offer opportunities for pupils to think about their own faith, think about the faith of others, and think about the bigger things in life. We let them consider opportunities and the vocations that they may have as young adults. We make connections between RE and pastoral and all elements of the school. We have an active gift team in school, which is made up of pupils who are willing to take part and celebrate their faith. They help support form tutors and provide reflections to use in form and around school. They support the parish priests in delivering Mass to our pupils in school. We also have an active youth SVP group, and with the gift team, they work together to get involved in events such as our community Christmas party. Our youth SVP also visit local care homes, Roughly and Spring Hill Care Home. We believe as a Catholic school, it's our duty to care for one another and provide for those less fortunate than ourselves. We believe that this is a way of expressing God's love and following the teaching of loving one another as Jesus taught us. We take part in many different fundraising events. Our Year 7s each year take part in our sleepover at school, where they raise money for Derry House. This regularly receives over £1,000 each time. We also take part in a fundraising event during Interfaith Week, where we collect food donations that go to our local food bank.
Here at Mount Carmel, we have ensured that our curriculum at Key Stage 3 is broad, balanced and ambitious, which allows us as a school to nurture each individual's God-given talents to the full. All subjects are taught in modern, well-equipped classrooms by dedicated, highly skilled and enthusiastic teachers who are committed to making lessons both challenging and enjoyable. This was evidenced by our recent Section 48 inspection, where teaching and learning in the RE department was judged to be of a consistently high standard. Our lessons are planned and sequenced to ensure that students are challenged to know more and remember more. The curriculum has been developed so that students are exposed to the best of what has been thought and said, so that they leave us with the broad depth and breadth of knowledge and skills. Teachers skillfully assess students' starting points at the beginning of Key Stage 3 and adapt their teaching to ensure that all abilities are catered for and students make good progress no matter what their starting point. On top of all this, and perhaps most importantly, our teachers foster excellent relationships with the students so that each child feels well looked after and a part of the Mount Carmel family.
Vast amounts of extracurricular and enrichment activities that are on offer to all the pupils at Mount Carmel High School. The PE department offer many sporting activities at both lunchtime and after school. These sports include football, badminton, cricket, handball, netball, trampoline and rock climbing, and we take part in regional and local competitions. The Expressive Art department offers many exciting opportunities to be creative. These include drumming and ukulele lessons, and the Mount Carmel pupils also perform a school play every year. Many other departments run trips throughout the year for Year 7, which support pupil progress. An exciting trip to Blackpool Zoo is run by the English department, and there's also field trips run in geography. An excellent, exciting trip for Year 7s is the annual Lockerbie trip, whereby the whole Year 7 get a chance to challenge themselves and build a relationship with their peers, and is always a highlight of the year.
So I hope this video has given you a really, really good flavour of our school. But of course, you can always go to our website where there's lots more information about the school, and of course our social media accounts where we continually post regular updates about school life in all sorts of different ways. But as a parent rather than a head teacher, I would advise prospective parents to come and have a look around the school in person and choose deliberately a wet Wednesday to contact school and arrange an appointment, because that's when you'll really get a good feel for what the school's like. And I'd say that for our school and any other school when you're making such an important decision about the right secondary school for your child. Thank you.